All right. We are live right now on Facebook. Going to wait just a few minutes of time, let people see the notification and get on. And we're going to be talking this evening about how to buy a home or how to get ready to buy a home. So, going to go through a lot of information in a short amount of time. So, we're going to wait just a couple more minutes here, let some folks jump on, and then we're going to get rolling. If you're on here, go ahead and comment and let from me. Just say hi. And if you will, you might need to leave your name, especially if you're not a member of the page. Sometimes if you're not a member of the page during live streams, all we can see is that you're just a Facebook user. It doesn't actually show your name on our side. So if you'd like us to know who you are, just send us a comment and let us know who you are. And then that way, it won't be any mystery when we hear from you. So I see some folks getting on right now. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes and then we're going to get rolling here. All right. All right. So again, my name is Daniel Rushing. I'm a real estate agent and broker with EXP Realty. And I'm going to be joined here in just a little while with lending officer from Movement Mortgage, Brandon Larsen, and he'll be able to share a little bit with you about what he does in just a moment. To welcome you to this webinar, we're going to take the next few minutes of time and we're going to talk about how to prepare to buy a home. I know this is for most people, especially if it's your first time buying a home. It can be a very daunting task, and sometimes it's hard to know where to start. It's hard to know what the process is, and you don't know exactly what you need to have ready and what you need to get together before you get the ball rolling. Some of you may have heard some really stories about buying a house and the market right now and how hard it is. And you probably maybe have some friends who put in offers at homes they weren't able to get. This is something we want to try to avoid. We want, as real estate agents and as home buyers, we want this to be a pleasant experience. We want this to be a positive experience. And so tonight we're going to take some time and just cover the basics of what you need to do to get ready so that you can buy a house. And covering these basics are so important. They're going to give you the leveraging power you need when you start making auto. It's just going to be better for you. And the goal tonight is to take that daunting, challenging task. That's how it may feel to you right now, and make it just a little bit simpler. So at this time, I'm going to bring on Brandon Larsen in just a moment here. Let me go ahead and bring this up here, let you know a little bit about what we're going to do tonight. So tonight we are going to begin by talking about the market. And then after that, we're going to hear from Brandon, and he's going to tell us about the different kinds of financing that's out there, and the differences between each of those, as much as we can cover in a short amount of time. We're going to talk about credit scores and how important those are and what those need to be. We're going to talk about savings. What do you need to have? What kind of money do you need to have on hand before you're ready to start the process of buying a home? Another big one is documents. I think this is something we're all guilty of, is just kind of, having all these documents in our lives, our bank statements, our taxes, and all the things we might need, but they're not always in the same place, are they? We're going to talk about that, what you need to have together so that you can be ready to begin the process. We're going to talk about down payment assistance. This is something that a lot of home buyers don't know is out there. Of course, it's not for everyone, but there is options out there, and there are opportunities, and we'll talk about those. And then we'll end tonight just by talking about what our next steps might be. So at this time, I'm going to bring Brandon on. Brandon is with Movement Mortgage, and he is partnering with me tonight to do this webinar webinar. So, like I said, I'm with EXP Realty, and Brandon is with Movement Mortgage, two separate companies. But when you buy a home, you'll realize that there's a strong relationship between those that do the financing and then the agents who are on the front lines representing the buyers and the sellers in the transaction. So let me bring him on. I'm going to use my new technology, so bear with me. All right, here we are. Let's go over here and do it this way. Hey, Brandon, how are you doing this evening?
I'm great, guys. How about you?
Good. Hey, why don't you just introduce yourself to everyone? Let them know a little bit about what you do over there at Movement.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate you taking time to bring me on tonight. Let me speak to anyone that's on. I'm with Movement Mortgage. We're based here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, top 5 lender in the nation. So, but we're about personal relationships, being involved in the community and helping people, afford a new home and to navigate those obstacles when it comes to the financing side. It's about putting them in the right position and really giving them that best advice. They're not just a number or a loan application to us. It's about that relationship. So that's what we're here for, and to kind of really hold their hands, especially when we talk about first-time home buyers, to really make sure they know what they're getting into, what the process is going to be like, and just have really effective communication and communicate up front what the process is going to look like, so that we take all that stress off them and hopefully make it as seamless as possible when they get into home buying.
Very cool. Well, Brandon, I just want to say thanks for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. You're an expert in your field, and really looking forward to hearing what you have to share with us. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the market. Okay. So I'm going to disappear, but I'm still here, and hopefully you can still hear me. The market right now, you may have heard, is tough for buyers. And the reason that is because, and this is, of course, as of the end of September 2020, that's because there are more buyers currently than there are houses for sale. And so what that means for buyers is that typically when you find a house, and we find a house that we feel like you're ready to make an offer on, there's a very high chance you will not be the only one making an offer on that home. There's a very high chance that there will be multiple buying parties making multiple offers on the home. And that can lead to some competition. So you need to win your offer. If you want to get the house that you want, and you want to be able to enter into a negotiation and enter into a contract for a home, you need to win the offer. And the way that you win the offer, it's not just about making an offer for the most amount of money. It's also about what kind of loan type you get. These are the things that sellers are looking at. They want to know what kind of loan you're coming with. They also now like to get a sizable due diligence fee or some due diligence money. And we'll talk about what that is a little later. And earnest money, that's something else that sellers are really looking for, what that amount is that's coming in. And that's money you give the sellers before you even begin the process of due diligence. That's just making the offer and saying, this is what we bring to the table. And we'll talk about what those are a little later. So the thing is, you want to start the process strong. So when you're ready to buy a house, the best way to win an offer is to be prepared. You need a pre-approval, which Brandon can tell you a little later about what that is and what that looks like and how to get one of those. But pre-approvals are a must right now in today's market. It's very hard to write offers up unless you're able to come to that offer with a letter in hand from your mortgage company, from your bank, from your lender that says this person can buy this home. They have the money, they have the financing available. So it's so important that you do that as you get ready to buy a home. Oh, let's go back here. I'm going to come back to that slide a little later. All right, so let's talk about the types of financing that's available out there. We'll begin there, and then we'll work through some of these other things as we go along. So there are multiple ways that you can get a loan from the bank. Basically, these are different containers. They're different. They have different backings and they have different requirements and that kind of thing. So I'm going to get Brandon on here. Brandon, I'm having a hard time right now. I'm muting your mic. My computer's being slow. Give me 1 second. There we are. Okay. So Brandon, would you take a few minutes and just tell us a little bit about each one of these types of loans and how they differ?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. So, guys, got out a lot of different options when you talk about financing. The one most people are familiar with is always conventional. That's the age-old program, that a lot of people think, hey, you need 20% down. Well, that's not always the case. You can still go conventional with less than 20% down. There's programs out there that do as little as 3% down on conventional. There's just some things as far as qualifying for conventional that are going to help you, and you need to be aware of, from credit scores to debt to income ratios that kind of affect conventional. The last three products you guys really see here, FHA, USDA, VA, those are all government products. FHA minimum 3.5% down, but this is really geared towards people with lower credit scores. USDA, some great perks to USDA. USDA 100% financing. You're going to have a little higher credit score to qualify for USDA than what we could score down to on an FHA. But with USDA 100% financing in eligible areas, but there are also some income restrictions with USDA. VA, obviously a great program for people that qualify, that have given service and have VA benefits, that have been in the military. So I really just suggest, on financing types, the best thing to do is to pick up the phone and talk to a loan officer and just really talk about your scenario so that you can figure out which one of these is going to be best for you, and then why that's the best. And maybe, you could really possibly fit into a couple of these categories, but your unique financial situation is really going to determine what avenue is going to be the right one for the right type of financing to try to look into, as well as, what the market's dictating and what sellers are looking for. That might also play a hand, and that's where you're going to need to talk to your realtor partner and find out what they're seeing in the market on that as well.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Let me ask you something real quick too. It's possible for a buyer to be pre-approved on multiple different types of loans. Is that correct? Someone could get a pre-approval for conventional and for FHA. It may differ in the amount that they're allowed.
Correct. Yeah, that you could be
they're doing structuring their conventional, but they can get a pre-approval for multiple.
Yeah, so you could do multiple pre-approvals in different categories. Yep, and that might be something that helps you win an offer right now. If you're pre-approved in multiple categories and the seller says, we like the offer, but we want conventional, then you've got a pre-approval for that other program.
Right, and that can definitely happen. Sellers, when you make an offer on a home, the sellers are told in that offer what kind of financing you're coming to the table with, and it affects them too. Some of these mortgages tend to close a little quicker than some of the other ones. Also, the requirements that are required. FHA, for instance, has some requirements. There's some things that they want the house to have, and some conditions they expect the property to be in before they'll back it. So you can actually come to the table with multiple pre-approvals, but it may affect the offer depending on which one you decide to go with, which one you can go with. So it's very important to remember that. So how do we get ready then to pursue this financial part of it, the financing part of it? So I get a lot, Brandon, I'm sure you get it a lot from folks, is what does my credit score need to be? So Brandon, what is the magic number right now? What do folks need to look at when they pull their credit report?
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, it's a good question. It's the question everybody asks. Best advice I can give you right now for us here at Movement, and almost any lender out there right now, because of COVID, there's different things going on. There are certain regulations set by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, but every lender has their own what are called overlays and what they're going to say you need on a score to qualify for that program based on their in-house guidelines. So for us right now, 620 and above on FHA, 640 and above for USDA, Conventional, you really want to be at that 680 or above. Technically, you could do a little lower, but you're going to need to show some more reserves and assets to be able to go that route. So, there's a lot of different things, and that's just where it goes back to you need to get on the phone with the lender and actually get your credit score pulled and go by, obviously what that lender's saying that credit score is, because you might see something on a Credit Sesame or a Credit Karma or another app that's not really giving you an accurate FICO score that's for a mortgage model, or you're seeing a Vantage score. So that's where it's going to come back to, getting on the phone with somebody, talking about it. And, if you got some blemishes on there, hey, that's okay. Nobody's perfect. We've all been there. It's about, how do you come into that ownership of that credit score, and what are we going to do? Hey, if maybe now's not the right time, you just got to take it and own it. And a lot of lenders are going to give you some pointers on the right directions to fix those things. And, you guys just got to take that and own it and work on it. And we'll help you and walk you through it and help you get to where you need to get to that correct score, so we can get you into a home.
Yeah, that is such an important piece of the puzzle. And I think it's so important. You said something that I get a lot is, someone will see Credit Karma, or they'll see, one of these other apps, and they think they know their credit score. But when we actually have their numbers ran with a lender, those apps and those websites were way off base. And this is so important. You really need to talk to a lender, even if you pull your own credit report, which you can do. But even if you pull your own credit report, you may not know what all that means in real numbers and what can actually be done. So it's always good to get on the phone with a lender and actually get those correct numbers pulled, find out where you're at, so that you know what needs to be done. But as you heard those numbers there, you're looking at least being in the 620 range to begin the process. Is that pretty fair to say, Brandon?
Yeah, pretty much. With the market the way it is right now, and most COVID overlays, for us at Movement, it's really about a 620 is that magic number right now to at least get you approved on one program, and that's FHA. With a 620, we can make an FHA happen for you, and then you're going to need that 3.5% down.
Okay, sounds good. So credit scores are one part of it. So there's obviously, you need to get this credit score pulled. You need to find out where you're at. Your lender can help you figure some things out that are on that report. We all have things that, may have hit it, things we didn't know about, maybe some things we did know about. And there's ways to work on your credit and to make it better. So another piece of the puzzle then, not just credit scores, but another piece of the puzzle is you need to have some money ready. You need to have some money set aside before it's time to buy a house. There's several things that you're going to have to pay for upfront, and some things that you need to be prepared for when you come to closing. I'm going to cover the ones I'm aware of. Brandon, if you have anything to add to this, please just jump in, and we'll talk about that. So if you do a conventional loan, and Brandon was saying there's ways to do conventional where you don't have to do the 20% down payment, but in the most traditional sense, a conventional loan, you're going to look at around having 20% to put down. Now there's ways around that, mortgage insurance and things like that, I think, but 20% is still pretty standard. Is that fair to say, Brandon?
Yeah, fair to say. You at the 20% mark with any loan program. Well, not any loan program, but 20% on a conventional, you're not carrying mortgage insurance, which is going to be a huge savings long term on the loan. So if you can get there financially, it's always the best. But everybody's scenario is unique. And you just got to look at that and find out what's going to be best for you. So, it puts you in a, better interest rate bracket a lot of times, lower risk factor. So there's some other things when you've got more to put down that traditionally help you, but 20% is not going to necessarily, if you don't have that, doesn't disqualify you from that conventional loan.
Okay. Sounds good. So, that's one thing you need to have set aside though. If you want to, when you come to closing, have a down payment, finance less, maybe get a lower rate, and not have to deal with the mortgage insurance, PMI, it's good to have some savings set aside for a down payment. Another piece to this puzzle is the due diligence fees. Now, this is one of the things most buyers don't know about or aren't aware of when they begin the process. So when you make an offer on a home, when you go under contract, with that seller to purchase that home, that's basically taking their home off of the market, because that's going to give you time to do due diligence, which is a period of time which you get to, have access to the home, have it inspected, get your financials in order, all that kind of thing. And so whenever you make an offer on a home, you send some money to the sellers, and here, take this money. This is to pay you to take your home off the market while we do our due diligence, so that they're not out of any money. And right now, because of the way the market is, and there's so many people putting in offers, sellers are obviously looking for folks who are willing to pay them to take the house off the market for due diligence. So it's one of those things that's become pretty standard now in offers, is to have some due diligence money. That, the amount varies, 1 to 2%, is some of what we're seeing. But basically, that's just money you send to the sellers when you make an offer, and you say, here, if you accept my offer, go ahead and take this money, and that money's yours. You don't get that money back as a buyer if the deal falls through. Okay. Due diligence money is money that goes to the seller, and the seller keeps the money no matter what. All right. It's just to give them a check to take their house off of the market while you do your due diligence. So you need to have some money set aside, 1 to 2% set aside, so that you can give the seller some due diligence money up front when you make an offer on the home. Now, that due diligence money does come off the price of the home at closing, right? It's subtracted off. So you're not out of the money necessarily. Unless the deal falls through, then you're out of the money. But if the deal goes through, the money you gave for due diligence goes towards the purchase price of the home. Some another form of payment we give, or we offer at the time of making an offer, is earnest money. And earnest money goes into an escrow account. It goes into a trust account, and it's held until closing, and then it is given towards the purchase price of the home. But this is just additional money that you give the seller when you make an offer. You make an offer and you say, here's this money up front. You can have it no matter what happens. That's due diligence money. Earnest money is money you give the seller in trust that the deal is going to go through. And when it does, that money is then put towards the purchase price of the home. Earnest money, you can get that back under certain circumstances. It's not quite like due diligence money, but both of those are monies you need to have saved before you begin the process, because you're going to need to spend that money as part of making an offer. Then there are costs associated with the due diligence period. Things like your inspections, your appraisals, your surveys, other things that don't roll into closing. You're going to have to pay for those. And so you need to have the money up front to pay for those. It costs money up front. It's not like when you buy a house, you go into it, you sign an offer, and no money's due until closing. No, there's things you have to pay for throughout the process. And so you need to be aware of that. And then your closing costs, which are going to be things like taxes, things that come up, or things that are negotiated in the process of due diligence. There might be things that are negotiated, some repairs, some extra money to cover the repairs, all those kind of things. All that'll go into your closing costs. Now, some of you may have heard of a time way back when buyers could ask sellers to pay for the closing cost. You can still do that. But with the market the way that it is right now, if someone else has made an offer and they haven't asked for any closing costs to be paid by the sellers, that offer is automatically more attractive. And there's going to be more than one offer on most houses these days. So less and less are we seeing buyers ask closing costs and actually get it. So that's something to keep in mind. Brandon, what else can we talk about the savings piece? Is there anything else from a lending standpoint that we need to know about our savings?
The biggest thing I would say is making sure that savings, try to group that all into one account. Have it in a savings account, or I'll have it all in a checking. Most people are doing savings because they put it into a savings. They don't want to touch it. Make sure it's all there to show that, so that it's just simplified from a documentation point, which I think you're going to talk about some documents next for, things like that. But, the more streamlined you have where that money is sitting, the easier it is to verify those funds during the documentation process of the loan, if you're going the route of getting a loan for a home purchase.
Absolutely. Well, Brandon, since we're already talking about that, why don't you go ahead and let us know some of the documents that we need to have ready when we come to our lender? What are the things that a lender is looking for in preparation for that pre-approval and for the process?
So best thing is have all these documents together up front. A lot of lenders, us included, we're going to ask to see certain things up front just because we don't hand out pre-approval letters like they're candy. We want to make sure that when you tell me I make X amount of dollars an hour and that comes out to 40 hours a week, it means X amount that I'm making. We're going to want to see that pay stub to verify where that income's from and coming from. If you're self-employed, we're going to want to see 1099s or tax returns for the last 2 years to be able to verify that there's income there. So get all your documents together up front. Having W-2s or 1099s or tax forms, having your bank statements. And if there is something that's a little different on it, just be upfront with the loan officer. Let them know what that is and be able to explain it, because most likely what's going to happen is an underwriter is going to ask for some letters of explanation or maybe some additional documents that prove what's going on a financial document. Sometimes that's going to happen. It's not they don't believe you. It's just, hey, we just want to be able to prove it. It's all about what we call matching the money and following the money. Where's the money coming from? Especially when we're talking about down payment money, the things like that. Like, are those documents legitimate? That we just want to make sure everything's right. And, kind of looking back to '08 when there was a crash, things were different. It's totally different now. So documents are really paid attention to more. So having those documents is going to get you through the process faster, from getting your loan from initial submission to approved. Having all that together and getting it to that loan officer so it's in the file up front. That's what movement we really strive to as a company, so that when it comes out of that first underwriting with the underwriter, we just need a few other small things. So the time and effort you put into getting any type of income documents together up front, it's going to make your life so much easier in the long run. And whether you work with us at Movement or another lender, that's when you can really tell you're dealing with somebody that's really reputable when they start asking for those documents up front, because there's some out there that don't do that. But people that are asking for you up front, they know what they're doing. They want to make sure that you're in the right situation for your scenario, and they want to make sure that they make things as smoothly as possible. So.
All right. Very good. So documents are so important. Have them ready. And like Brandon said, communicate with your lender. This is, you have to be kind of an open book financially when you're getting ready to buy a home. There's going to be questions that are asked. And so you might as well get ready for it. Brace yourself, because it's one of those things. Our finances are often very private to us, but when we do go into a situation where we're trying to get some lending, we're going to have to open up a bit, and we're going to have to, lay those things on the table, answer some questions, make the underwriters feel really comfortable about your situation, because they are flexible if they have letters of explanation. It's not just strictly a numbers game. I mean, the buyers do have a chance to explain themselves and to work with lenders and to get, things taken care of. So very, very important. All right. So let's take just a moment and talk about this piece to the puzzle. This is something that is often not known about. It's something that we find buyers are often unaware of. And that is that there are programs out there to help with down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, and some other things. There are multiple ways that you can find out about these programs, but I would suggest you call a realtor. I'm going to give my contact information a little later. So you can contact me. We can, see where you're at, see what's offered that I'm aware of. We can research, find out what else is out there. But there is a payment assist from state and local housing finance agencies. So there's some government grants out there from the state and the local level for housing. There's also city or county administrators. I know that in Gastonia, the city of Gastonia, there's actually a down payment assistance program. So if you're in Gastonia and you want to buy a home in Gastonia, contact me. Let's see what's available for you. See if you fit any of those programs that are out there, because there definitely is some out there for Gastonia. I believe there's some in Lincoln County as well, but we can look into that for you. You just need to call and say, hey, this is what I've got, this is what I'm looking at. Did you have something, Brandon?
I was going to say that that's all of Gaston County. They're Gaston County, not
Okay.
just Gaston in itself, but it is all of Gaston County.
Very good. See, it's good to know. So if you're in Gaston County, there's some assistance programs out there. Just contact me, contact Brandon. We can help figure out something for you. Also, check with your employer. Sometimes employers have programs for their employees who are first-time home buyers, or for individuals who currently rent and are looking to buy a home. May not be their first home, but right now they're in a rental, and they're looking to get out of renting and buy a home. Sometimes your employers offer programs. Also, nonprofits. Check your with the nonprofits you're familiar with in your area. Maybe your church. Some other programs that are out there, just to see what's out there. See if anyone out there is offering grants to home buyers, or those who are in first-time home buyers, or those who are in renting situations and trying to get out of it. There's definitely some programs that are out there. So just contact somebody, and we can figure out how to help. So we're almost done here. I appreciate everyone who jumped on. I saw several of you move through tonight. Hopefully you were able to pick something up from this. We're going to also, I'm going to have this on YouTube. I'm going to put this on my page so you can view this later. If you joined late and you missed some of the first part, you can still catch up with some of the content. So what's next? Well, if you're ready, if you think you're ready to buy a house, maybe you're tired of being, there's so many advantages to buying a home. You've got the equity that you can build. It's usually less per month for more house than what you find in rental. It's yours, you own it, and there's just so many advantages. And if you're in a place where you want to explore that, and you've heard this tonight, there's some things you need to get ready. You might be asking, well, what's next? Well, really, the next best step to take is to contact someone. So, if that's something you're ready to do, you can call me. I will get you in contact with Brandon, and we can start that process and figure out what's going on in the state where you're just working on the financial piece. Brandon would love to hear from you, and he would love to take care of you, and then when you're ready to buy, we can work together to help you find your next home. So there is ways to get in touch with us. I'm going to share that with you in just a moment. My slide was out of place for that. I don't know how that happened. I thought I had this slideshow perfect, Brandon, and somehow I ended up with a slide out of place. So I want to go back in a moment, and I want to get that. But Brandon, did you have anything to add there?
No, I think it's just like you said. It's all about, hey, what's next, and whether you're on the fence, whether you're not on the fence, pick up the phone, call somebody, talk through it, talk to somebody that's dealt with the process, and just be open-minded to be able to ask those questions that you might have, and we'll point you in the right direction. There's no pressure to, oh, you need to buy today. It's, hey, what's right for your situation at the end of the day.
Very good. Very good. All right. So I'm going to bring up here, if it will work. I'm going to bring up this slide where you can contact us. So here's our contact information. Of course, you can call me anytime, 704. Well, I say anytime. Be polite. Don't call me late at night, right? 704-741-8728.
Yeah,
so, call me. Text also. I'm totally a texter. I'm not offended by that. Yeah, no, you don't want that. You don't want like a 10 o'clock at night phone call. But you can text or call. I'd love to hear from you. You can also email me, daniel.rushing@exprealty.com. This is an important one here. Check out my website. This is super easy to remember, danielrushing.exprealty.com. So when you go to this website, you'll be able to browse homes. You'll be able to see what homes are out there. You'll be able to, create a wish list of homes that interest you, all those kind of things. It's a really cool interactive website. You can go there and just begin to, do some shopping around, see what's out there, see what excites you. Also on Facebook, SDR NC Homes. You can find me there. That's my Facebook page, and Instagram, Real Daniel Rushing. So Brandon, his cell phone number here is 317-719-1269. So you can call him. And then also his email is Brandon Larsen @movement.com. All right. So I guess then I'm going to wait just a few moments. I'm not sure who is still on with us and who isn't. anything you'd like us to address that we haven't addressed. And if we can address it in this format, we will. If not, you may have to call us if it's too complex of an issue. So if you have any questions, you can just type them into the comments there. I'm actually going to get on my phone because I'm using Stream, and I'm not sure if it's working or not in terms of the comments. So I'm going to jump over here so I can see, make sure that we're not missing anything here. All right. Very cool. Well, Brandon, I guess that means we did a really good job. I don't see any questions coming through.
Hey,
So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I know, I know you're ready to get back to your evening, and I'm going to go eat some good dinner here. But listen, thank you everyone for jumping on. We really appreciate it, and I'm so excited about doing this. This was something that's been in my mind to do for some time, and finally actually got the equipment to be able to do this. We recently just moved into this spot and created a little studio to actually get on here and do things in the COVID. I've got a question here from Gwenda Wheaton. She's asking me to reshare the contact information, so I'm going to do that. Give me one moment, Gwenda. All right. Okay, here we are. This is the contact information. For me, texting and emailing are the two best ways, and for Brandon, the same thing. Cell phone or email are the two best ways. So those are both up there for you. And since we had a question coming late there, I'll wait just a moment in case there's any more. All right. Well, good deal. Well, thanks again, everyone. Hope you have a great night. Again, I'm Daniel Rushing with eXp Realty. We've been joined by Brandon Larsen with Movement Mortgage. Contact us. Let us know how we can help you. I know we want to make complex things easier. Want to help you make your dreams come true, help you buy the home that you've been wanting. Contact us. Let us know how we can help you. Let us know how we can represent you. And, now you have the tools. Go back and watch this video. Get your house in order. Get yours together, and let's make it happen. Y'all have